And I gotta tell you something. Here's a question. Do you ever notice we're in the world of layoffs right now here in Iowa. And do you ever notice one person gets laid off and you swear to God the world has come to an end? They ball up in a fetal position in the middle of the living room, sucking Budweiser through a plastic straw, yelling at their mom, yelling at the Democrats, yelling at the Republicans, yelling at everybody because they lost their job. But the next person walks down to the street corner, builds a little cardboard thing, and starts selling root beer and bagels and makes thousands of dollars and a smile laughing like they're goofy. You almost think they got sense, but you're not sure. Why is this? Well, one side knows the three secrets, other side doesn't. You might think that person in the corner is an idiot, but apparently they know the three secrets or somehow inherently it got pulled into their brain. So, and picture your brain. No, no, not the gray, massy, disgusting looking thing that, that worries about bills and plays the lottery once a week, hoping you're going to get money out of it. No, I'm talking about your brain, kind of like a rubber band. And sometimes your brain is a rubber band, you stretch far and it snaps. But if you take a rubber band and every day just keep stretching a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, it can go to 5 or 6 times its original stretchability. That's what you have to do with your brain. That's how you look at it. And there's 3 traits, and we're going to talk about these. And people pay me a lot of money to tell them about these 3 traits. I made that part up. They don't pay me anything for this, and neither do you. The first trait is called radical acceptance. And I've talked about this before. It didn't happen to you. For example, think about this. You come out of a bar or a supper club and your car's been towed, parked in the wrong place, been towed. Now, you have 2 options here, really. Pretty much that's it. You can stand in the street corner, cussing and swearing and stomping your feet, being pissed at the world, pissed at everybody around you, having a fit, walking up and down the sidewalk, go back inside, get on your cell phone, threatening people, or you can come to the reality is you didn't get towed, your car did. It happened. Now what? Your brain will react to what you push into it. Your brain is not deciding to be the blithering idiot on the sidewalk. You are. I know that sounds crazy because you go, well, the brain runs me. No, you actually are guiding it. You're guiding it. So once you tell your brain, all right, it happened, car's towed, now what? Now your brain is free to look for the lifeboat instead of worrying about the iceberg that just sank your boat. So you can start saying, how am I going to get my car? Where did it go? Think about that. It's not a worry anymore. Now you've got to get it and concentrate on how to get the car back. That's a simple process. It didn't happen to you, it happened to the car. Trait number 2, micro win discipline. Pretty fancy term, huh? Micro win discipline is, let's be honest about this. People talk about motivation all the time. Got to get motivated, got to be motivated. Let's get motivated. Yeah, well, motivation can be garbage. It's like a sparkler. And a sparkler only works for what, 30 seconds? And then it's just a hot, useless piece of wire that when your grandson hands it to you the wrong direction, you burn your hand on. I'm speaking from experience there. The trick is to make the task so insultingly small that your inner saboteur, who wants you to stop everything, doesn't even bother to show up. For example, let's say you decide you're going to write a book. Don't sit down and say, by God, I'm going to write a book. Sit down and say, I think I'll write a sentence. Start with that. The sentence can turn to a paragraph. The paragraph can turn to a page. The page can turn into a chapter. Okay, you get it, right? But if you sit down and say, I'm going to write a book, now it becomes kind of daunting. I know, I've written 3. It's daunting to sit down and make that decision. Start out with the basics. You create a streak. You break the streak, you feel kind of guilty about it. Your brain gets used to the streak. It kind of gets addicted to it, and it doesn't want to break it. Get a streak. Start, like I said, but build a little bit longer. Maybe start with a paragraph, okay? Just do that. Just little bitty victories. Trait number 3 is called biased optimism. What the hell is that? And this is not a stupid being positive where you pretend your house isn't on fire, even though you can see that it's on fire. And some people will do that. This is strategic. It's deciding to bet on the upturn before you have any proof. Almost sounds like you're gambling on a horse, but it's not. Let's talk about people who've lost a job again. Okay. Research, and they've done a lot of research. In fact, I read a whole bunch about this recently. It was kind of interesting, but research shows unemployed people who have an optimistic outlook get jobs way faster than the pessimists. Why? Well, my personal feeling before reading the research was simple. Who the hell wants to holler somebody who's bitching all the time? Nobody wants to hire somebody who's complaining about everything. You want to hire somebody who might know a couple jokes I can tell you at work, or at least you think they can do their job without complaining about everything about it, complaining about you if you're the boss. That's what I thought. Well, the other reason is because optimists keep sending out resumes instead of just staring at the wall. They treat rejection as kind of like a bad date. You've been on a bad date? I've been on a bad date. In fact, I've probably been on a bad date. It's not a funeral. No one died. It was just a bad date. But for every one setback, force yourself to list 3 times you wanted to pass. I'm serious. Think of that. Every one setback you have in life, write down 3 times you won in the past. I'll bet you'll find them. Don't have to be huge wins, just got to be wins. What you're doing is you're reminding your brain that you know how to get out of a jam. Think of that. That's pretty damn powerful. Sometimes you need a pat on the back, and the best person to get a pat in the back from is you. So remind yourself, I remember when I did this. I remember when I had a flat tire out in the middle of nowhere and the jack was broke, and I still managed to fix the tire. How about the time you got the date with that girl in school, thought you was homely, and finally she talked to you and thought you were funny, and she went out with you anyway? It might have turned out to be a bad date later, but that's not the point. Success. It's like a three-legged stool. If you have a three-legged stool, I've heard these stories before, but this is true. You get a three-legged stool and one leg is not working just right, the whole thing wobbles. You got to nail all 3. Once you do that, you're stable. Then you're pretty much ready for whatever life throws at you, any kind of punch. Test drive this for like 7 days. Try the 3, see how it works for you. If it was useful, hit subscribe. Next week, we're going to forge ahead on these traits. We're going to dig into a bit deeper. I'll show you exactly how they work for me when I did some really stupid stuff, ended up in prison. Oh, yeah. You think that wasn't stupid? That's the top of the stupid heap. But I found some victories even there. So this is Jack from the Underdog's Guidebook to Life. Come on back. Remember, we're still smiling. Talk to you soon. Hey, take care.